Hi, this is Josh Marshall from TPM Media. It's Wednesday, May 7th, 2008, and this is a very rare late-night taping of TPM TV. As we speak, it's 1:30 in the morning on May 7th, and we've just concluded the North Carolina and Indiana primaries. Now, as you know, the final tallies appear to be a decisive win for Barack Obama in North Carolina, a 14-point margin, and a very, very close race turned out to be in Indiana. Hillary Clinton appears to have won by about 22,000 votes. Earlier in the evening, it seemed like Clinton might win by a 6 or even an 8-point margin, but that margin just kept getting smaller over the course of the evening, and the networks finally called it about 1 a.m., again, with about a 22,000 vote margin for Hillary Clinton. So it ends up that it was the split decision that we thought it would be, both candidates winning one primary, but her margin was so small and his was so big that the upshot is really very different than we thought it might have been a day ago. What that means is that Hillary Clinton has really been dancing on the edge of the precipice politically, going back almost 2 months now. On March 4th, she exceeded expectations in Ohio and Texas, and she did the same thing in Pennsylvania on April 22nd. But tonight, finally, she didn't. It was Barack Obama who exceeded expectations in both states. Hillary Clinton's path to the nomination has been difficult and non-existent, really going back a couple months now. But as long as she kept winning, as long as she kept exceeding expectations, she could keep going. But now she's faltered, and I think this is really the game-changing night. And you could even see that in both candidates' speeches. Barack Obama, who spoke first, made his emphasis not so much digs at Hillary Clinton, but an effort to reach beyond the race and move towards conciliation in the Democratic Party. And even though Hillary Clinton got in some barbs at the beginning of her speech, you could see she almost had two speeches, a beginning speech that was very feisty and fighting, and then the second half of her speech that again seemed to move towards that reconciliation as well. I think we'll find out over the next couple weeks that this was the event that a lot of superdelegates were waiting for. You could see that there's been a hunger among a lot of these people, the superdelegates, big party, big wigs around the country, a big hunger for this thing to be over. And you could see a sign of that in Joe Andrews' defection last week. And in addition to that, just the constant drumbeat of superdelegate announcements that you've seen mainly in favor of Barack Obama, going back many weeks now. There's been a lot of media conversation over recent weeks that the superdelegates are hanging back to take the measure of both candidates, to see which is stronger, to see if Barack Obama has any more dirty laundry. But I've always thought that picture was basically misleading. I think what you have is a lot of superdelegates who wanted this to be over, who either support Barack Obama or think he's going to be the nominee. And what they're looking for, they want it to be over, but they don't want to be the ones who end it. They want the campaign itself to become a fait accompli, and then they'll come in and make their endorsements. One point we made last week is that for candidates, other Democratic candidates who are also superdelegates, who are running their own races, in fundraising terms, it's not a great thing to announce for one candidate or the other because you instantly alienate half your supporters and half your fundraising base. But even for candidates for superdelegates who maybe don't have contested races or aren't worried about raising a lot of money, again, picking a side in this race for a lot of members of the House, for a lot of politicians, there's just little in it for them. They want it to end. They don't want to be the ones who end it. So where do we go from here? If Hillary Clinton would have lost Indiana, you might have seen a quicker move of superdelegates in favor of Barack Obama. But I think you can see what's going to happen here by looking at the way that Barack Obama gave his speech this evening. He wasn't trying to push Hillary Clinton out. I think there's a real sensitivity on behalf of the Obama campaign not to antagonize Hillary Clinton supporters anymore. They know they need to reach out to these people and bring these people into the fold. So I think what's going to happen over the next week or so, maybe the next couple weeks, is to see if there's a possibility of sort of softening the barbs on both sides, rather than trying to get a rush of superdelegates out tomorrow and the next day and force this to an end abruptly. One other point to keep in mind, and that is the remaining calendar this month. Next Tuesday is West Virginia, and Hillary Clinton seems almost certain to win that by a big margin. A week after that, you have Kentucky, which she'll also win by a big margin, and Oregon, which Obama is pretty likely to win, but maybe not by the same margin. So you also need to think about how those races fit into what's going to be happening over the next couple weeks if Barack Obama seems to become more and more the de facto nominee. To find out more, follow our coverage throughout the day on the aftermath and the fallout of Tuesday night's primaries. I'm Josh Marshall from TPM Media, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.